For 100 years, the stars bled. What began as a philosophical rift with the Jedi Order spiraled into a century of nightmare. This was not a war of starships and soldiers alone. It was a war of monsters. Legions of twisted abominations birthed in alchemical vats, unleashed upon a republic that had forgotten the meaning of true darkness. This is the story of the 100-Year War and the birth of the Sith. Greetings, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, and welcome back to the Infernal Brotherhood. Last episode, we saw the Jedi Order fracture during the Second Great Schism. In 7000 before the Battle of Yavin, that fracture became a wound that would not close for a century. Led by the High Priest of Shadow, Ajunta Pall, and the Master Alchemist, Sorzuz Sin, the Dark Jedi launched a campaign to remake the galaxy in their image. Today, we descend into the 100-year darkness from the biological terrors of the Dark Jedi to the final stand at Korbos and the accidental discovery of a world called Korriban. The war was defined by one horrifying advantage: Sorzuz Sin. While the Jedi fought with discipline and traditional Force techniques, Sin used the dark side to improve nature. She created a bestiary of nightmares. It started with shamblers and howlers, it evolved into pit horrors, and finally, the Leviathans, immense biological engines of war that could literally suck the life essence out of Jedi and store it in blistering traps on their backs to fuel the Dark Jedi's power. The Jedi were pushed to their limits. In secret, the High Council constructed the Prism, a hidden, high-security prison facility designed to contain the most dangerous Dark Jedi they captured. The war was so brutal that even the Jedi had to resort to secrecy and questionable containment to avoid total annihilation. It was a family feud that nearly burned the house down. By 6900 BBY, the Dark Jedi were finally cornered. A century of attrition and, more importantly, infighting among the Dark Jedi leadership had weakened them. On the world of Korbos, the Jedi Order and the Republic military launched a final, massive assault. The Dark Jedi were broken, their monstrous armies slaughtered, and their leaders captured. The Jedi did not execute the survivors. Instead, they chose a punishment they believed would be a death sentence. The Dark Jedi were stripped of their weapons, their lightsabers, and, most crucially, their navigational charts. They were loaded onto unarmed transport galleons and cast out into the wilds beyond known space. They were expected to drift until they starved or were crushed by the deep core's gravity. Guided by the rumors of an ancient kingdom of the Sith, Sorzuz Sin used her connection to the dark side to navigate the unknown. They found Korriban. There, they encountered a red-skinned humanoid species, the Sith. King Hakagram Grouch initially welcomed these sky gods and their advanced technology, but the Dark Jedi were not there to coexist. Ajunta Pall conspired with the king's own shadow hand, beheaded the monarch, and declared himself Sithari, the God King. On Korriban, the Dark Jedi interbred with the native Sith. Their philosophies merged. The title Sith shifted from a species name to an ideology of power. They built a new empire, fueled by hatred for the Jedi who had exiled them. Although a few rogue exiles tried to return to Republic space early, against Ajunta Pall's orders, only to be destroyed, their failure gave the Jedi a chilling realization. The Shadow had survived, and it now had a name. The 100-year darkness ended on Korbos, but its true legacy began on Korriban. The Jedi believed they had purged the darkness, but in reality, they had simply planted the seed for the greatest threat the galaxy would ever know: If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Century of Shadow, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. A huge thank you to my creator patrons Aaron Hardy and D. Robert Handy, developer patrons Chris Androu and Sam Ruiz, and all of our YouTube members. Your support keeps the Holocron glowing. Until we convene again, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.